How is Striga connected to Dracula? What's gonna happen if you meet a Doppler? Would you like to be as prepared for meeting a Kiki Mora as the Witcher himself? Hi, I'm Tim, and I'll tell you the stories behind some of the Witcher's scariest monsters. Let's go! The very first monster we meet is a Kiki Mora, aka Kiki Mora, which lives in swamps near the town of Blaviken. So what is a Kiki Mora? In Slavic folklore, this creature resembles a deformed thin woman with an elongated face and chicken-like legs. They live in the cellars or behind the stove and are generally minor troublemakers. They make scratching and creaking sounds at night, resembling those of mice. But sometimes these female spirits can be dangerous, sending nightmares or even trying to suffocate people in their sleep. So, in order to protect yourself from a Kiki Mora at night, just place your belt on top of sheets and place a broom by the door. However, some legends say that Kiki Moras do live in the deep parts of the forest, including swamps. Anyway, it's not the type of creature we know from the Witcher video games. And now the Netflix series. In Sapkowski's books, the creature is described as having bony clawed paws, a spidery form, covered by dried black hide, and needle-like fangs. So the Witcher games adopted this description, having modeled a whole new species of monsters. Multi-limbed venomous creatures covered with thick, hard armor come in 3 different forms: the Kiki Mora worker, warrior, and the queen. And it is most probably the Kiki Mora queen we see Geralt fighting in episode 1. In the next episode of The Witcher, Geralt is hired to kill a devil. But it appeared to be a Sylvan, a rare and intelligent creature. It would be weird if the devil was caught stealing farmers' crops, but for a Sylvan it's kinda acceptable. The humanoid monster with horns, pointed ears, and goat legs, Torque the Sylvan, reminds us of Greek fauns and satyrs. They were known as hedonists, who enjoyed all kinds of carnal pleasures. Myths of goat-human hybrids date back to the 5th century BC, and the most famous among them is the Greek god Pan. The name of this creature, Sylvan, comes from the Roman deity who protected woods and fields, Sylvanus. However, later in the Middle Ages, these creatures became associated with demons and the devil. You might also know another half-goat creature that was allegedly worshipped by the Knights Templar, an idol called Baphomet. Anyway, in mythology, as well as in Sapkowski's books, the Witcher video games, and the series, Sylvans are relatively harmless creatures. Although they enjoy tricks and pranks, Sylvans generally avoid humans and hate bloodshed, and Geralt discovers it pretty soon. But in episode 3, Betrayer Moon, the Witcher meets a much more dangerous creature, the Striga. The nightmare that's haunting Vizima for several years is finally over when the Witcher manages to lift the curse from the king's daughter. The origins of the Striga lie in Albanian and Romanian mythology. They are the troubled spirits that have risen from the grave and live on drinking the blood of their victims. Doesn't it remind you of something? Oh yes, vampires. Bram Stoker's Dracula is actually based on the legends about the Strigoi. Another type of vampire in Romanian folklore is the Moroi. And by the way, all these names are familiar to you if you've watched the movie Vampire Academy. Also, the Strigas in Polish mythology were supposed to be people born with 2 hearts, 2 souls, and 2 sets of teeth. And when one of their souls died, they became blood-sucking monsters. In the Netflix series, as well as in the books and the games, there's only one Striga, the daughter of King Foltest, and his sister Ada. One of the knights, who is also in love with Ada, cursed them, and the curse passed on to the unborn child, who emerged as a Striga. In this respect, it also resembles another demon from Slavic mythology, a Poroniec, which is believed to come from stillborn fetuses. In the game The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, this kind of creature is called a botchling. On the Witcher series, the Striga looks like a giant deformed humanoid monster, and she looks nothing like the Striga from myths, although she's even more dangerous. Killing it would have been a tough job, but according to the myths, cutting off a Striga's head should have worked alright. But Geralt chose another way, to cure the Striga of her curse, though few considered this task possible. That speaks volumes about the best Witcher on the continent. The only monster Geralt doesn't encounter in the Witcher series is the Doppler. Instead, the Doppler takes the form of Mouse-Sack and hunts down Ciri. But the fact is that in Sapkowski's book, the Doppler appeared to be quite a harmless creature, almost like a Sylvan. But anyway, the inspiration behind the character is similar to a doppelganger. Doppelganger translates from German and is double walker, and it is not an actual person, but more of a ghost. These doubles also exist in Egyptian, Finnish, and Irish myths. To see a doppelganger is usually considered to be a bad omen, though sometimes they protect their human doubles from injury. But they certainly don't act like the Dopplers from the series, taking not only the forms, but also the memories of their victims, and using it to their own advantage. Also, the myths provided a hint on how to recognize a Doppler. They usually don't have a shadow. However, on the Witcher series it wasn't that easy. But the most difficult task was to defeat the Djinn, and even Geralt, with the help of Yennefer, couldn't do it. All they could do was set the Djinn free and let him fly away. In Arabic mythology, jinns, more commonly known as genie, sometimes inspired poets. But that certainly wasn't the case for Jaskier, who got injured and triggered the course of events that bound the fates of Geralt and Yennefer. Jinns are ancient creatures, made out of air and fire. Generally, they are neither good nor evil, though sometimes they can possess people and bring many misfortunes. But if you capture the jinn, so you can use its power. This idea is very appealing, so no wonder it survived until modern times, popularized by the story of Aladdin. However, even if the jinns can grant wishes, it doesn't mean that they are willing to do it, and that's what we saw in the Witcher series. These are not the only monsters that we have met in the world of the continent. There were ghouls, magic brainworms, a dragon, and a harika, not to mention dryads and Duni, the hedgehog knight. So if you want to learn more about their mythical origin, let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Awesome Movies.